Hello, this is Victor Cuevas with Victor for Advice, another one of my unscripted videos, and this has to do with personal pension plans. Now, what's a personal pension plan? Well, it's a pension plan that's set up with a fixed annuity, and it can be set up with no fees, or it can be set up with a very low fee of less than 1%. But what does it do? It takes money that you have risked in the market, moves it into a situation where you can no longer lose money ever. You can only make money. The years going forward, your annuity continues to make money, never goes down, never loses money because it's not in the market, even though the interest that's credited to your account is based on the stock market index. But you're not invested in the stock market. And then in the future, you get to retire with a high income payment, a lot higher than you would be able to receive from a traditional securities-based retirement program. And the income is guaranteed to last for the rest of your life. Even if you run out of completely out of money in that account, you will continue to get paid for the rest of your life. Annuities have been around for some 400 years. So why should you look at a personal pension plan that I can design for you as opposed to what the world in general offers? Well, look at this. And if you have a pension plan, or you have an IRA, or you have an old 401k, you need to be listening to me very carefully. Here's my financial advisor magazine that I get. And it says advisors face major conflicts on pensions versus lump sum decisions. Now, I've run across this several times over the last few years. And it says here, Ford recently gave its employees in the UK the option of taking half of their defined benefit pension as an immediate cash lump sum and leaving the other half as a company pension. Now, why would Ford do that? Or Verizon, or UPS, or a host of other corporations that have done the same thing? Because corporate pensions aren't viable anymore long-term, folks. They're not. Person starts with a company when they're in their 20s, retires at age 60 or 55. They work for the company 30, 35 years. They retire, they live another 30 years or so, and what? They're getting paid an income, and they're not working for that company anymore. They're receiving a pension for the same amount of time, or even, in many cases, longer than, they're receiving longer income in retirement than they received while they were working for the company. Now, if a company has been around for 50, 60, 70, 80 years, 100 years, and Ford's been around for over 100 years, folks, I mean, that company is going to have to generate a ton of profits just to keep up with the pension payments to those employees. And they used to give free health care on top of that. That went out a long time ago. Same thing with the government. Now you can work for the government, start at 21, retire at 51, and get a pension for the rest of your life. And that's tax dollars. That's not based on corporate profits. It's not working. It's not going to work. It bankrupted General Motors in 2008. Part of it was their pension plans, and they cut pensions. I personally know people who've had their corporate pensions cut. One guy was with a major airlines that went bankrupt while he was in retirement, and they restructured and came out and slashed his pension 50%. Can you imagine a highly paid pilot who used to make $250,000, $300,000, $350,000 a year, who's probably got a six-figure pension, and all of a sudden, after 30 years, cut it in half. And that's why Delta a few years ago, and I was living in Atlanta at the time, because Delta's headquarters in Atlanta, gave their pilots the option of taking their pension money out and doing something different than that. And a bunch of them took that money and ran, and they put it in retirement accounts because they saw the writing on the wall. So that's why Ford is doing this, folks. Lots of American workers have been offered the option over the past several years as companies, like I was saying, it's not just Ford, look to divest themselves of large retirement liabilities. They want out of the pension business. That's why pensions, for the most part, have disappeared over the last 20 years, and it's, even 30 years. It's all 401ks. And 401ks have not worked out that well for people. That's a whole different video right there. All right, so here we go. But it's a tough decision for recipients. Should they take the money and run, so to speak, or leave it where it is, which often provides guaranteed payments for life and some peace of mind. You hope it's guaranteed payments for life. And now I really want you to pay. Now you got to stick with me on this, folks. This is blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. Not surprisingly, financial advisors themselves are divided on how to counsel their clients. For one thing, financial advisors have a conflict of interest. Listen to this, folks. A conflict of interest when it comes to pensions versus lump sum decisions, notes David Rudy, a financial advisor at Rudy Wealth Management, a fee-only IRA, registered investment advisor in Champaign, Illinois. If a client chooses a pension instead of a lump sum, there will be no assets for the advisor to manage, which means less revenue for the advisor. In other words, you come to a financial advisor, one of these guys, and I used to be in that world. I used to collect a fee, and I used to collect commissions. I've been in both worlds. I'm a commission guy now. So they go to this guy and they say, "Look, I can take half of my pension out or more right now, and move it into something else. So it's got to go in an IRA, because if not, you'll be penalized and you'll get a big tax hit, and you don't want that. You got to move it into an IRA, an individual retirement account." And the financial advisor goes, "Hey, what should I do?" Well, the first thing the financial advisor goes, how much do you have in your pension plan? Well, it's about $300,000. And go, I put that money with me. I can collect a fee from there and add to my assets under management. But if it's best for him to stay with the pension, I will collect a fee and I'm wasting my time. There's a conflict of interest. And they won't show him, listen to me, folks, this is very important. That advisor, that fee-only advisor, will not show him anything, no matter how good it is, how appropriate, how suitable for the client. He will not show him anything unless he can collect a fee. Now, who's being dishonest? It says it right there. It's the conflict of interest. For that reason, I feel the best approach is to help clients answer these questions is to discuss the financial and emotional considerations involved so they can make an educated decision about what is best for their life. The right answer is ultimately going to depend on specific details of the pension options and the financial circumstances of the individual and emotional. Look, let's go down here to further down. This is really blowing me. It's also important for retirees to consider which option gives them greater peace of mind. Rudy says many people psychologically prefer a guaranteed pension income stream to taking portfolio withdrawals from an investment portfolio. Now let me explain why. If you have $1 million in an investment portfolio in the market, just about every expert will say you can't take any more than 3 to 4% a year out of that account. $30,000 to $40,000. That's all. Or you might run out of money. Now, let's suppose you get ready to retire and it's the year 2008 and you have $1 million. Let's say it's year 2007 and you take 40%. And that means $40,000. Now the market goes down 40%. And your fee-only advisor who's been, managing, he doesn't manage it. He has a third-party manager, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. He's collecting the fee, and he says, "I got this, man. I'm doing a good job for you, and remember, I care about you, and I'm going to make sure you don't lose any money, because if you lose money, I lose money." And all of a sudden, your account is down 40%, 30%. Now, you took 40 grand out. Now it's down to what? $650,000, $700,000, $725,000 in your account. You think you're going to take $40,000 out next year? I don't think so. Your retirement's pretty much toast under the watch of your fee-only, very reputable, I got your back financial advisor. Now, if you had that money with me and the market goes down 40%, 30%, 25%, whatever, guess what? You lose zero. Guess what happens to your income? Just keeps chugging along. You don't lose a dime. I put you in a situation like that. I get paid a commission. You go with this guy. Remember, he will not tell you about what I just said, so he can't collect a fee on that. It's a racket, folks. Look at here. Even if the financial analysis shows the lump sum provides more income or a greater legacy, that doesn't mean it will allow you to lead a happier life according to them. Watch this. And this is the icing on the cake, folks. It should scare you to death. When I explain the trade-offs to clients, that is the main thing I stress. Do you want to take the risk of having to manage the money? Or do you want your former employer to do so? So he's saying this, look, you can manage the money yourself, but you can let your employer know it, and I don't know if 20 years down the road, the pension is still going to be viable. There's no telling if they're going to cut that pension in the future. Or you can manage it yourself. Wow. There's some good advice there. Says, or you want the money, or you're having to manage the money, or do you want your former employer to do so? Says Savarelli. Now, he's a certified financial planner. It's a golden standard. Everybody says, oh, certified financial planner. Do they really have your best interest at heart? Or theirs? Here it is. Clients generally cannot replicate the risk-free return of a pension plan. That, my friends, is a bold-faced lie. That certified financial planner, the guy writing this article, just lied to all of you. And they get away with it every day. Clients generally cannot replicate the risk-free retirement of a pension plan. They most certainly can duplicate it and beat it hands down. They may be able to grow the money to generate income greater than what their plan illustrates, but they will have to put it into the markets. That means they have to have confidence and patience while the investment value rises and falls with the markets. That is easier said than done. Many see a loss, then panic and sell. In other words, he's saying, if they put it in the market, which is where this certified financial planner is going to put it in the market, or they manage it themselves, and the money starts going down, they panic and they start selling. And that is the worst thing you can do, right? Well, it's a two-edged sword. If you sell, guess what you're doing? You're selling low. You bought high, you sold low. Horrible scenario. You lose money. If you don't sell, what happens if it goes down 40%? You're trying to sell it. You're down 15%. You're trying to sell, and you go, well, maybe it'll rebound. Then it goes down 40%. Now you're really in the mess. What are you going to do? What's the financial planner going to do? He's going to watch it go down. I know, I've been there. I watched the whole financial advisory world in 2008 watch everything go down. I mean, everything went down, including bonds and cash. In fact, to keep from running the bank, the federal government increased FDIC insurance from $100,000 to $250,000 an account. It was a mess. Let's look at this again. They may be able to grow the money to generate income greater than what the plan illustrates. So I may have a little scenario for them, and maybe we can manage the account so that it beats projections, right? But you'll have to put it into the markets, and that means they have to have confidence and patience while the investment rises and falls with the market. In other words, look, folks. In other words, it's a crapshoot. These people are working for a company that has a pension. They're looking forward to the day, one day, when they can retire and get that $25,000, $35,000, $40,000, $55,000 a year pension paid out to them every single year, year in and year out. And they can collect Social Security and say, okay, I can be in peace and I can live comfortably with my pension. But when a company comes to them and says, you know what, we're going to give you the option of taking 50% of that pension or more and moving it someplace else, excuse me, the people start thinking, why are they doing that? They start checking around and they find out these pension plans are in trouble. So they're going, my goodness, this pension gives me such, security, and I don't have to stress. And if I move it from here and I put it, with this financial advisor, the advisor is telling me, well, I can't guarantee you anything. We're going to do the best we can. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And I leave it in there. What if they don't do the right thing with it? And they're sitting there in stress. And what does this certified financial planner do? Well, he's thinking, I really want this money. I want to get my fee. I want to get my fee every single year, year in and year out, no matter what, up, down, sideways. I'm collecting my fee. I've got to collect as much money as I can, $10 million, $15 million, $20 million under management, so I can collect my 1% fee and make my six-figure income. And if I don't get assets under management, so where is the loyalty here, folks? Come on. Let's use our common sense. Is he really thinking about the client? Or is he thinking how much he would like to have those assets under management? So that's how he makes his living. Well, I'm going to be sitting with that same client. And yes, I want the business because I want to earn a commission so I can earn a living. And if he's moving $200,000, I like it to move to where to what I'm suggesting he move it to, so I can collect the commission off of that. And it's going to be a nice commission. But he puts it with a fee guy. The fee guy is going to hit him for 1.5% to 2% on his end. Then he's going to take that money and give it to a third-party manager. And the certified financial planner does not manage money. He's not a certified financial analyst. He's a planner. He's an advisor. He's not an analyst. He does not manage money. He takes that money and gives it to a third-party money manager, and that's all these guys do day in and day out, week after week, month after month, managing people's money. A certified financial planner manages the relationship, not the money. But the financial planner gets his cut, and guess what? These third-party guys get their cuts. It can get kind of expensive, folks. And if the account is traded a lot, there's going to be more trading fees involved in there. Even if you make 10%, you might end up using 3%. It's all said and done. So you better be making good money. But you're not. You're not going to make any better. These guys, trust me, I've been there. I've used the third-party guys. I've used supposed to be the best guys around. Long term, guess what? You could put your money in, you can put, let's say you can put 30% in an S&P 500 index fund. You can put 30% in a Dow Jones Industrial Index fund, and you could put 40% in a bond index fund and let it ride for the next 20 years with maybe a 0.5% fee and do better than all those guys there. 9 times out of 10. But you're still subject to market volatility. You still got to worry about, as you get close to retirement, is that the time that the market takes that 40% nosedive, 20% nosedive. You don't want to be there, folks. So right here, do you want to take the risk of having the money, managing the money? Don't take the risk. Don't manage the money yourself. Unless you're very highly educated and watch the markets every day or two. Take a little bit of your money, trade it yourself if you want. Don't take all of it. Or do you want the former employer to do so? You do not want to keep that money in that pension plan. If you can take it out, take it out. But where are you going to put it? You're not going to have to worry about none of this stuff here about the markets going up. This statement, clients generally cannot replicate the risk-free return of a pension plan. It is a lie. We can put your money, it will never, ever, guaranteed, never lose money, ever. It will grow nicely, and when you get ready to retire, you get a nice high withdrawal from that account, and that income will be guaranteed for life, no matter what. Even if you run out of money in that account, you will still continue to get that income, and you'll never, ever take a pay cut. Guaranteed. This statement is a lie. Not only can you be in a situation like that, like your pension plan, but much better. And I call that creating your own personal pension plan. So folks, I thought it was necessary for you to see this, because this is what the world out there is doing. The talking heads out there, the Dave Ramsey's of the world, the Clark Howards of the world, these consumer advocates say, stay away from commission guys, deal with certified financial planners and fee-only planners. And you see right here, folks, that that is not the best advice. You see that these people who are supposed to be the ultimate professionals, who are fiduciaries like I used to be, and supposedly have a higher standard, where their standard is the client first, not the companies or the products that they represent. That's all a farce, folks, because you see right here, they do have a conflict of interest. What kind of advice should I give to this guy? I want that money to manage long term, but I can't duplicate the pension safety, which is not really safe at all. And that's a lie, because you can duplicate the safety and do better than a pension plan. But these guys will never, tell you about it. Even if they know about it, they will never tell you about it because they can't collect a fee. And that is the truth, my friends. So, if you want to at least look at what your IRA or your pension money can do in a personal pension plan long term, and look at the income you can reasonably expect to receive in retirement through an illustration, I will be happy to do that for you. And then you can really make an educated decision as to what you want to do with money you may have in a pension plan or an IRA out there, or an old 401k from a previous employer. Okay, that's it, folks. I'm Victor Cuevas, Victor for Advice. I hope to be talking to you soon.